One of the main questions that I get asked about is whether or not I tell my family that I smoke. And the short answer is yes. The long answer is that it took me, quite a bit of time. And the reason that it took me some time was because I really had to understand where they were coming from. I have two immigrant parents. My mom comes from Guatemala. My dad comes from Mexico. And in both of those countries, cannabis is predominantly one of the worst things that you could do. And the reason for that is because of the cartels, because of the violence, because of just the general aspect and overview that everyone portrays of cannabis, right? Which is like your stereotype. It's you smoke and do nothing. You smoke, you're lazy. You smoke, you're never going to do anything with your life. Like those are, the aspects that they were exposed to, and that really helped me decide who I wanted to be with cannabis, right? It really had me thinking about, all right, if I'm going to consume, if I'm going to be doing this every day, I got to switch up the narrative, right? I have to really be able to smoke, but do my homework, smoke, go to work, smoke, clean up. Like it was just changing my lifestyle so that it wouldn't affect me in their eyes in a negative way. Right. And it did take some time. My mom and dad, like they were pretty against it, growing up. And, even later on in life, they were just wanting me to go a different path. But cannabis has been something that's always helped me. It always soothes my mind. It always, gets me focused. And it just, overall just makes me feel better. It's not because of an addiction towards it. It's not because, I'm dependent on it or any of that. It's just genuinely because it just makes me feel better. Right. It elevates a lot of who I am in the best way. And so I think that, having this Mexican background, coming from a Mexican culture, like we're always going to be looked down to smoke or to, partake or do anything like that. And that's okay. But I think it's up to us to change that narrative, right? Like if your parents think that you're going to be some way, show them that you're going to be something different. You know what I mean? Don't, smoke a joint and forget about everything you got to do, do what you got to do and then smoke your joint. You know what I mean? And I don't want to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you what's worked for me, and just really own it, right? Own who you're going to be with it. And I think that that's important because, this is who I am, right? I'm someone who loves to smoke, right? I love to, indulge on cannabis every now and then. But I like to do things with it. Like you'll hardly ever see me on the couch. You'll hardly ever see me, just kind of doing nothing. I'm usually like up and about. I get my wake and bake on, and then I start the day, right? Whether it's work, whether it's school, whether I'm trying to just go out and have a good time. Today I decided, I'm gonna smoke some, come out here, enjoy nature for a little bit, talk to y'all. It just kind of give you a little bit of my background, a bit of my story. And, hopefully, it kind of changes up, a little bit of that. But take your time with it. Be patient. Learn to understand your parents. Like, they really are here to try to, put us in that right direction. Even though the direction they might want us to go in isn't our own, you just got to kind of break out of that and show them that, you can do what you want to do. And, you could drink, you could smoke, you could do anything, but you got to do it right. Because, if we don't, then we kind of fall into that trap of that same cycle, that same stereotype, that same typical stoner, and nobody wants to do that, So I think culture, cannabis, everything that we're doing, I think it's up to us. And, let's just make it happen. You know what I mean? And I think that that's important, for us generationally, because now we get to kind of paint that picture going forward. Now we got kids, now we got cousins and nephews and everyone younger than us that, we want to see do well, but we want to see them live their life. At least I do. I got my nephews, I got my niece, I got my godson, and yeah, their parents, they might not agree with me that, cannabis is what it is, but I'm never going to take that away from them. Instead, I'm going to guide them in that right direction and kind of show them the way that you could be successful. And so, you could be successful and, do a couple of drugs a day. But it all comes with the self-discipline, right? It all comes with you and how you attack it. If you want to be the go-getter, you will be. If you want to kick back and chill and do nothing, you will be. But again, it's up to us.